Hi, my name is Daniel Pazos, and we're going over my unit plan today. I chose to do the topic Algebra 1, Reasoning with Equations, Inequalities, and Functions. The grade level for Algebra 1 is level grades 8 to 9, and the subject is mathematics. So for our unit summary, in this unit plan, students will understand solving equations as a process of reasoning and explaining the reasoning. They will learn to solve the system of equations with one or more variables, and students will understand functions and the many properties associated with functions. In order to comply with the California content standards, students must define, evaluate, and compare functions and use them to model relationships between quantities. In Algebra 1, students learn function notation and develop the concepts of domain and range. They focus on linear, quadratic, and exponential functions, including sequences, and also explore absolute value, step, and piecewise defined functions. They interpret functions given graphically, numerically, symbolically, and verbally, translate between representations, and understand the limitations of various representations. Students build on and extend their understanding of integer exponents to consider exponential functions. They compare and contrast linear and exponential functions, distinguishing between additive and multiplicative change. Students explore systems of equations and inequalities and find and interpret their solutions. They interpret arithmetic sequences as linear functions and geometric sequences as exponential functions. So for this unit plan, our big ideas are focusing on equations and inequalities, and that is by solving equations and inequalities in one variable, and also solving systems of equations in more than one variable, and also solving functions and how to interpret functions and the many properties of functions. So our student learning objectives are making sense of problems and preserving them to solve them, reasoning abstractly and quantitatively to construct viable arguments and critique their reasonings of others, to model with mathematics, to use appropriate tools strategically, to attend to precision, to look for and make use of structure, and to look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. So up above, you can find our navigation bar, and it can take you to all the different sections of my unit plan. We have a teacher site, assessments, lesson 1, teacher lecture, lesson 2, Webersize/iPad lesson, lesson 3, graphic organizer, unit resources, and my DUP template and screencast. I will walk you through all of them. So first we click on Teacher Profile, and it takes us to a separate page called Mathematics with Mr. Pazos. We go over all of our classroom rules and policies, what is defined as mathematics, class schedule, useful links, digital interactives, and internet use, and another link to take us back to our unit plan. The next page on my unit resource is assessments. So for this, I created a quick entry-level assessment for solving systems of equations of multiple variables. So in this quick little quiz of entry-level assessment, it goes over prior knowledge questions that will help students learn to link the new information with what they already know, helping them to make it easier to learn. So here's my assessment map for this part of the unit plan of solving systems of multiple variables. We have the entry-level information of what the entry-level assessment will include, such as discussing previously covered topics, such as how to solve single variable systems, and some prior knowledge prying questions that will include a short slide of questions that will pry prior knowledge that will apply to the new lesson. And then we move on to the formative assessment, which includes group worksheet on solving multivariable systems, a quiz, and graphic organizer. For the summative assessment, it includes a unit test and grades review, which is where I talk with the students one-on-one about their grades and how they're doing and what we need to do to improve. Here is the summary of the assessment map, where it just goes into a little more in-depth of each assessment. Here is the rubric for the summative assessment unit test. The unit test will consist of only a few questions that will cover all the material for the unit test. So it's graded among, you can score 3 different points: having the correct answer and showing all your work. You can also receive partial credit for not getting the problem correct, but doing the correct work and showing that you have knowledge of how to solve the problem. Or you could receive no credit for not showing your work or getting the right answer but not showing your work. The next page on the unit plan is Lesson 1, which is a teacher lecture. I created a Prezi presentation to go over how to solve inequalities in one variable. So as you can see, we begin with reviewing common inequalities, their symbols and what they mean. Next, how to test what satisfies an inequality and how to test your values of X with a quick video by Khan Academy. Most kids have problems with word problems, so here's a chart that students can use to define which symbol they should use based on keywords. Then the lesson finishes up with a few problems that students must complete. The next page on our unit plan is Lesson 2, which is a Webersize I created. So I created a worksheet and it asks a few common problems, and the students must click on the link and find the answers within that link. The links may be to a page they have to read for information, videos they have to watch and follow along to do the problems, or an interactive page where they have to graph functions. The next page on the unit plan is our graphic organizer lesson. So I created a graphic organizer for the students to follow along, and they have to answer the 4 questions up top of what method of solving are they choosing, explaining how to use that method, creating a word problem that contains two equations and 2 variables, and having to solve the problem they created. On the right side is a scoring guide for the organizer assignment. The maximum score is 25 points based on 4 criteria. The last page on the unit plan is the digital unit plan template and the screencast, and you're probably on this page right now. So the digital unit plan template just outlines everything from our unit plan, from our California content standards that we have to meet, our big ideas, unit summary, assessment plan, entry level, formative, each lesson and how each lesson reaches are acceptable evidence and assessments. So we have to make sure each lesson has each assessment. Here's a few unit resources that I have used throughout creating this unit plan, and a few useful websites that I've also used. And thank you for looking at my unit plan. I had a lot of fun making it, and I look forward to sharing it.